the minister, your minister, get the money back that was paid out in this clear, crystal clear case of contracting abuse.
Welcome back to Northern Perspective, everyone. I'm Cypher.
And I'm Fox. We bring you
good news, everyone!
And potentially even better news regarding the ArriveScam scandal. Christian Firth and Darren Anthony of GC Strategies will be forced to testify at committee. In addition, the Conservatives will be tabling a surprise motion to Parliament tomorrow.
Now, let's get to it.
And folks, I'm coming to you live from outside the House of Commons, where the motion that we had passed at committee that would allow for the summoning and a warrant to be issued and the arrest of the contractors from GC Strategies should they refuse to appear. Well, that motion just passed in the House of Commons. And so this is big news when first, the Liberals originally refused to pass the motion. But, recognizing that this has already been passed in committee and that they'll be responsible for covering up this massive scandal, we were able to force them in the House to pass the motion just now. And this means that the principals at GC Strategies, the two-person company who did no IT work on Justin Trudeau's $60 million ArriveScam, but were paid $20 million, that they have 21 days to be scheduled and appear for questioning in the House of Commons for their role in Justin Trudeau's $60 million scandal. This is incredibly important because this accountability, the failure of the Liberals to not only properly monitor and administer public funds, which the Auditor General has found that they failed to do, we need answers. How a two-person company gets $20 million on a contract like this. So they've got 21 days. If they don't come, the Sergeant-at-Arms will have to arrest these two and bring them to the House of Commons for questioning. So this is an incredible precedent, but it's an incredible situation. $60 million for an app that wrongly quarantined 10,000 people, and two people collecting $20 million for that. So this is big news that it's just passed the House. The shot clock starts now, 21 days. So expect to see the principals of GC Strategies in front of a committee answering our questions, because if they don't schedule it, well, the sergeant's going to be coming for them, and you don't want that.
I want that.
Yeah, you almost wish they don't come just to be able to see that, but also that's not going to be on camera, so you wouldn't see it anyway.
Yeah, we should do like an episode of Cops, like follow them around, and then when the Sergeant-at-Arms shows up,
Yeah.
That'd be
bad
fun.
Bad boys. Right?
That'd be fun.
Anyway, so this is what the motion actually said.
Accordingly, the following recommendations of the committee were agreed to. 1. That an order of the House be issued requiring Christian Firth and Darren Anthony each to appear before the Standing Committee on Government Operations and Estimates at dates and times determined by the chair of the committee, but within 21 days of the adoption of this order, and with such accessibility accommodations the witnesses may request and the chair agree to arrange. And 2. After those 21 days, if the chair of the committee informs the speaker and the sergeant-at-arms in writing that one or both have failed to appear as ordered, A, the sergeant-at-arms shall take Christian Firth, Darren Anthony, or both of them, as the case may be, into his custody for the purposes of enforcing their attendance before the committee at dates and times determined by the chair of the committee, for which the Speaker shall issue his warrant accordingly. B. The Sergeant at Arms shall discharge from his custody a witness taken into his custody pursuant to paragraph A upon 1. A decision of the committee releasing the witness from further attendance, or 2. Further order of the House to that effect. And C. The Speaker shall inform the House at the earliest opportunity of developments in this regard.
And here is what that moment actually looked like in Parliament.
The Honourable Member from Edmonton West.
Mr. Speaker, I note that all parties in the Government Operations and Estimates Committee have agreed to this motion so we can get to the bottom of the ArriveCan scandal. Therefore, I ask if the House gives its consent. I move that the 14th report of the Standing Committee on Government Operations Estimate presented earlier in the day be concurred in.
All those opposed to the Honourable Member moving the motion will please say nay. I'm afraid there is not unanimous consent. Thank you very much. That is not. I'll ask the Honourable Member to please take his seat.
All right, so originally we thought that was actually going to be the clip that showed us that the motion had passed. But surprisingly, or maybe should be unsurprisingly, some Liberals had actually said nay. So, when you don't have a unanimous consent, something usually has to go to a vote, right? So, and then later, Michael Barrett ended up putting out that video that we actually showed initially, that the motion had passed. So the issue is something had happened after Kelly McCauley had presented this, and it would have ended up with unanimous consent. The issue is that the government is so slow at actually uploading their transcripts and everything else. It's going to be very, very difficult to find probably the 10 or 15 seconds that actually occurred that the Speaker no doubt corrected the or passed the motion with unanimous consent in the House. So at some point later, it was passed, and Michael Barrett has been around long enough. I doubt he was completely mistaken in this motion actually passing. So
when Hansard comes out, we'll be able to figure out exactly what went on, but it won't be out for several days yet.
Yeah, and we're not going to do a video just before that, but it will at least be something that will probably update the description of this video so people can actually see exactly where this was.
So for now, we're going to trust Mr. Barrett because he was present.
There you go.
Now, to be honest, that was where this video was originally going to end, but we found something else that you need to know.
Tomorrow, the Conservatives are going to be tabling a very important motion before Parliament.
And before we get into what that motion is, we need to show you where this motion originated from.
The minister, your minister, get the money back that was paid out in this clear, crystal clear case of contracting abuse. To be very specific, money paid to GC Strategies for their work on the failed ArriveScam. Does the minister have the power to get that money back?
Thank you. Maybe I'll turn to our CFO to.
Thank you for the question, Mr. Chair. I think normally I think if, and I can speak on behalf of our department in the situation where if our department was a party to a contract where we did not get services that were supposed to be delivered, we would absolutely have the right to go after a party to recover the funds. So
Is this an example of an opportunity for Canadians to get some of their money back from GC Strategies?
I can't speak to the particular case. I think
Is that because you haven't looked, or because you're not sure?
So I'm speaking on behalf of PSBC, where we contract services for ourselves. I think in this case, in the particular case, we're talking about GC Strategies. And
we are, and let me. I've got very limited time. I got 15 seconds left. They forged the credentials that they used to win the bid. If that's not a disqualifying criteria for someone to continue to receive work, but also if it doesn't mean that we don't get the money back because they got it under false pretenses, what does? Is forgery and fraud enough for the minister to get their money back, to get Canadians' money back? Yes or no?
Thank you for the question, Mr. Chair. I think that is one of the questions that is being looked at, and I think when that determination is made, the appropriate authorities will be involved, as my colleague Catherine Poulin has indicated.
So, based on that answer and the subsequent research that the Conservatives have done, we are really excited to present you with the opposition motion regarding the return of Canadian taxpayer money. Given that the Auditor General's ArriveCan audit determined that the app cost taxpayers at least $60 million, but concluded it is impossible to determine the actual cost of the application. 2, the Procurement Ombudsman found that in 76% of ArriveCan contracts, some or all of the contractors' proposed resources, such as subcontractors and employees, did not perform any work. 3, GC Strategies, an IT company that does no actual IT work, was paid nearly $20 million in relation to the ArriveCan app. The House, A, call on the Prime Minister to table in the House of Commons no later than Monday, March 18th, 2024. A report which details the complete direct and associated costs concerning the ArriveCan app incurred to date, including the total amounts paid to contractors and subcontractors, broken down by contractor or subcontractor, and the value of staff time represented by the salary, bonuses, and other expenses paid to all public servants who worked on the app in relation to all expenses respecting 1, research and development of the app, 2, management and storage of the data collected by the app, 3, software development, testing and maintenance, 4, training for government employees for using and troubleshooting the app, 5, call centers used for the app, 6, ArriveCan related communications with travelers by email or text message, 7, market and opinion research, 8, advertising, 9, public relations, 10, merchandising, gifts and promotion material, 11, processing of security clearances, 12, travelers' expenses after being wrongfully directed by the ArriveCan app to quarantine, 13, the services of legal counsel involved in contract negotiation, litigation arising from procurement or the use and implementation of the app, and the numerous investigations conducted relating to the app, 14, any other costs related to the ArriveCan app, and B, call on the government to collect and recoup all funds paid to ArriveCan contractors and subcontractors which did no work on the ArriveCan app within 100 days of this motion being adopted, and for the Prime Minister to table a report in the House demonstrating that taxpayer funds have been repaid. Sponsor, Pierre Poilievre. So that was a real mouthful, folks.
That was. What's it all mean?
So what this is essentially saying is the Conservatives are putting forth a motion to demand that the Prime Minister produce a document that includes all comprehensive and complete costs for the ArriveCan app, whether it be contracting costs, cloud storage costs, software development costs, all of it, even including the salaries by the public servants that worked on the thing. So they want all of that. And what that is going to serve to do is then inform the second part of this, which is for the government to go and get our money back, especially from contractors like GC Strategies, from people that did no work. Remember, there was the inflated contracts for these level 10 resources that allegedly CBSA demanded for, but then they were swapped out with less skilled resources. So all that money between the level 5 or level 4, whatever level they were, and the delta between level 10, all that money has to come back.
You know, as much as I'm hoping that this bill is successful and they are able to go and retrieve Canadian taxpayers' money, part of me is wondering if it's actually just a theater bill to trap the Liberals and or NDP into voting against it so that the Conservatives can say, see, these guys don't care about your tax money. Vote for us and we'll take care of your tax dollars.
Oh, I agree. And here's the interesting thing. It is a trap motion because when it comes to money, that's supply and confidence. And what are the NDP bound by?
Supply and confidence.
Supply and confidence.
Especially after accepting that ridiculous dental bill that we discussed yesterday.
Right. So my guess is because this involves money, is the NDP have to support the Liberals. So this is almost a gotcha, a I told you so, a, you know, serves you right type of motion by the Conservatives, almost in retribution for them signing this pharmacare bill. It's like, oh, you want to continue to support them? Here you go. And the NDP are going to be bound, I think, I could be wrong, but I think they're going to be bound by this agreement to vote with the Liberals for this. And then the Bloc and the Conservatives are going to be jumping up and down, calling it a conspiracy and calling, you know, for the fact that the Liberals don't want to get our money back and that the Liberals are in fact not in the interest of Canadians. They don't care about getting our millions of dollars back that were wasted on this app. Because you know the Liberals are going to be voting against this.
Of course they will.
So, you know, this puts Jagmeet in a really tough spot. And I don't sympathize with the guy at all. Right? Not one bit.
Well, they're finally showing their true colors to Canadians. And by they, I mean the Liberals and the NDP. They don't care that $60 million was wasted on this app. They don't care that Firth and Anthony walked away with, what was it, like $19 million?
Yeah.
They don't care at all. That's your money. That's our money. You know, Canadians are lining up for food banks. Canadians are foreclosing on their homes. Canadians are having trouble paying for childcare just so that they can go to work and try to earn enough money to keep a roof over their child's head. This is the state of the country right now, and we're fully anticipating tomorrow when this motion is read that the Liberals and the NDP are going to vote against it.
So this is going to be very, very interesting, and it's supposed to be read in the morning session, so between 10 and 2 o'clock. So if you're available, that would be some interesting viewing, everybody, to see what happens. And we'll see if we can put out a short video, you know, maybe early afternoon about that to keep you informed. But I think Fox is right. I think this is a trap motion. I don't think I think the Conservatives would love it if it passed, but
I think we'd all love it if it passed.
But I don't think they're counting on it. And I think I think from here on in, you're going to see many more of these types of motions and bills from the Conservatives to test the resolve of the NDP. And they're going to make them pay for it.
And not only to test their resolve, but it also shows Canadians exactly what they voted for.
Right. And it pushes the NDP right up against the Liberals in terms of their political affiliation. And the Conservatives are going to do this all the way until whenever that next election is. Jagmeet, you know, you can get off this train at any time. At any time. So you're either going to do that or you're going to ride this train all the way to disaster and the end of your party leadership and possibly the end of the NDP as a party status for the next 4 years.